I've worked as a 911 dispatcher for almost 7 years now, and I've heard just about everything you can imagine. Frantic parents, car accidents, overdoses, domestic calls that make your stomach twist. But last week, something came through my headset that I can't stop thinking about. Something that shouldn't exist. It was a quiet night shift, around 2:57 a.m. The hum of the monitors was the only sound in the room. My partner had just gone to grab coffee, so I was alone when the next call came in. At first, I thought it was static, a faint crackling like a weak radio signal. Then I heard a woman's voice, soft, trembling, but clear enough to make the hair on my neck rise. "Please. He's inside my house. Please, hurry." I straightened up, instinctively pulling up the caller ID. But the screen showed no number, just a blank entry, no origin, no GPS ping. "Ma'am, this is 911. Can you tell me your address?" I asked. She whispered again, this time even closer to the receiver. "He's inside. I can hear him breathing." Her voice broke. There was a thud, and silence. I tried again. "Ma'am, stay with me." "I'm sending help. Just tell me where you are." Then, just as suddenly, the line went dead. I checked the call log. It didn't exist. No number, no call duration, nothing, but I'd heard it. Every word. I called my supervisor over. He thought it might have been a prank, or maybe a system glitch. But we traced what little data there was. It led to an old property about 15 miles outside of town. A place I knew. A house that burned down 5 years ago. And I remembered the story. A woman named Claire Madden had lived there. Her ex-husband broke in one night. They found her body near the stairs, and the police report said she'd called 911 before she died. The kicker, her call never connected. The lines were down because of the fire. I didn't believe in ghosts. Still don't. Not really. But the thought that I might have just taken that same call years later, it stuck with me. The next night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I pulled the old case file from archives. The call logs from that night were in there blank too, just like mine. Same time frame. 3:03 a.m. That's when things got worse. Around 3 a.m. again, my headset beeped. One new incoming line. No number. I froze. It was her again. The same whisper. "Please. He's inside my house." My stomach dropped. The exact same tone. The same fear in her voice. "Ma'am, you need to tell me where you are," I said again, but my throat was dry. This time, there was breathing on the other end. Heavy. Not hers. Then, a man's voice, deep, rough, repeated her words back to me. "He's inside my house." I pulled off my headset. My hands were shaking. The call ended by itself. And again, no trace in the log. My partner came back and said I looked pale. When I tried to replay the audio, the file was gone. Only the timestamp remained. 3 hours, 3 minutes and 12 seconds a.m. I didn't sleep for 2 days after that. I kept seeing that number sequence in my head. When I finally came back for another shift, one of the new trainees asked me about something strange. He said a woman had called earlier, whispering, terrified, and asked for me by name. He swore, she said. "Tell him, it's not over." I asked him to show me the call record. Of course, there wasn't one, but the timestamp was 3:03 a.m. I drove out to the remains of that house after my shift ended. I don't know why. Maybe I needed to prove it wasn't real. It was cold and silent out there. The kind of quiet that feels wrong. The house was nothing but charred wood and collapsed beams now. But standing there, I could still smell smoke, cold, dry, but strong enough to sting my throat. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, expecting static. But all I heard was breathing. Slow, deep, male. Then a whisper, close enough to feel on my ear. Too late. The line cut out. I checked my phone log. Nothing. No missed calls. No incoming. but my clock had frozen on the screen. 3:03 a.m. That was 5 nights ago. I've switched shifts, started keeping my phone off after midnight. But last night, when I came home, I noticed something on my voicemail. A saved message. Unread. It started with static. Then her voice. Please, he's inside my house. Only this time, at the end, she said my name. And now I can't shake the feeling that I'm the one being traced. It's October 17th, 1998. I don't know why I bought it. Maybe curiosity. Maybe just because the handwriting on the side of the VHS said "do not finish." Of course, that's exactly why I took it home. I found it at that tiny flea market outside town. Dusty, unlabeled, and mysterious. A collector's dream, or a curse, I think now. The apartment was quiet when I got back. The kind of quiet that presses in on you when the sun is low and everything looks orange in the fading light. I dug out my old VCR, the one I hadn't touched in years. The tape slid in with a click. The screen flickered, static spilling across the CRT, and I pressed play. At first, it looked like a grainy home movie. Suburban street, dusk light, nothing remarkable. But even then, you felt Uniasi. Something about the houses felt familiar. I knew I hadn't seen that street before, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that I had. I should have stopped the tape then, but I couldn't. Halfway through, I realized something was very wrong. The camera moved inside the homes, lingering at windows. People were there, going about their lives, unaware they were being filmed. My skin crawled. I could almost hear my own pulse through the static. Then it changed. It showed my apartment. Every detail was exactly as it is now. The couch, the papers on the table, my old coat thrown over a chair, and then I saw myself, sitting there, frozen in disbelief. I remember thinking, there's no way this is possible. I froze. My hands were trembling. I tried to eject the tape. Nothing. The static thickened, and then I saw it. A shadow behind me on the screen, not mine. Something else. Faint, blurred, impossible to make out. My chest felt tight, my throat dry. I forced myself to turn around. The room was empty, but when I looked back at the screen, the shadow had moved closer, leaning toward the camera. I don't remember how long I sat there, watching my own reflection, trapped in that flickering blue light. I yanked the cord from the wall. Silence. My heartbeat pounding in my ears. I shoved the tape into a box and locked it in the closet. It's October 18th, 1998. I thought it was over. I told myself it was my imagination. But when I checked the box this morning, the tape was gone. I searched my apartment from top to bottom. Every shelf, every closet, under the couch. Nothing. And then I heard it. Faint static, coming from the living room. I froze. The old CRT flickered to life on its own. The VCR tray slid open slowly, like it was inviting me to play again. I didn't. I couldn't. But I watched. From the doorway, my own reflection stared back at me through the static and me. Something dark, indistinct, leaning closer. It's October 19th, 1998. I haven't slept properly. Every time I pass the living room, the screen flickers. Sometimes I think I hear my own voice whispering from it. Sometimes I see movement in the reflection shadows that shouldn't exist. I've thrown out every TV I own. I've moved apartments twice since then. It doesn't matter. I keep thinking about that tape, about the people it showed before me, about the houses it filmed, the lives it recorded. Some of them didn't finish watching. Some vanished, and I know now why. Some stories don't want to be finished. Some stories want to watch you back, because curiosity doesn't just kill the cat. Sometimes it follows you home. October 1st, 1989, I finally moved into apartment 6B today. It's an old building, the kind with creaky floors, drafty windows, and that faint smell of mildew that never seems to leave. The landlord warned me about it, said the previous tenants left in a hurry, but I didn't care. I just wanted a place of my own, somewhere I could be alone. I spent the entire day hauling boxers up the stairs, unpacking, arranging furniture. By the time I collapsed on the couch, the sun had disappeared completely, and the apartment was lit only by the dull yellow glow of the ceiling light. The quiet was unnatural, not peaceful. The hum of the refrigerator and occasional groan of the building settling were the only sounds. I told myself it was nothing. Then I noticed the mirror in my bedroom. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light. My reflection wasn't doing what I was. I raised my hand slowly. Nothing. I blinked. My reflection stayed still. And then, it smiled. A small, faint smile that didn't belong to me. My stomach dropped. My heart raced. I shook my head, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. I went to bed that night, but sleep didn't come. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see that mirror, that still, watching reflection, smiling faintly in the dim light. October 2nd, 1989, I couldn't stop thinking about the mirror. Curiosity, or maybe fear, got the better of me. I set up my old camera on the dresser, facing the bed and the mirror. Primero, I wanted proof that I wasn't losing my mind. At first, the footage was normal. Me, lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, camera rolling. But halfway through, I saw it. My reflection moved on its own. It sat up, leaned forward slightly, and just watched me. That smile again. Calm/unnerving. Like it knew something I didn't. I froze. My chest was tight, my hands trembling. I wanted to stop the recording, but my fingers felt heavy, as if glued to the bedspread. The reflection continued, moving ever so slightly, tilting its head, shifting its gaze. I could feel its eyes on me, even through the lens. I finally mustered the courage to stop the camera. Silence, relief. But I couldn't sleep that night. I kept imagining the reflection, the way it had looked at me. I wondered if it had always been alive, or if I had done something to awaken it. October 3rd, 1989. It's getting worse. The reflection isn't just lagging behind anymore. It's doing things I don't do. Simple historis, tilting its head differently while I brush my teeth, shifting its weight while I sit at the desk. Sometimes, I swear it whispers my name when I'm alone. I've started avoiding the bedroom. I stay in the living room, lights on, curtains drawn. I even brought my phone into the living room to record the reflection from a distance. Every playback shows it doing the same things. Watching, waiting, smiling when I'm not. Tonight, I peeked through the crack of the bedroom door. The mirror's glass was empty. Relief. Finally, maybe. Then he felt Italiano cold. Still, behind me, watching. I turned slowly. It was their May reflection, or something pretending to be me. Standing too close, smiling too wide. The eyes weren't mine. Not completely. There was something darker, older, patient behind them. I don't know how long I stared. I can still feel its gaze. Even now as I write this. My hands are shaking. I've locked the bedroom door. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight. The mirror isn't reflecting me anymore. It's learning, waiting, and I have the terrible feeling that soon it will no longer need the glass. I'm writing this down because I need someone to know. If you ever move into an old apartment and see a reflection doing something you didn't, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's your imagination. Some reflections aren't reflections at all, and some of them want to take your place.